All right, today on the College Prospects Podcast, I want to talk about a perspective, a mentality, and a myth that I think has a lot of people missing out. And I won't say has a lot of people missing out, but the thing to understand is the people with the best game plan, who execute it the best, who prepare themselves the best, are the people who end up getting college scholarships and opportunities to play college basketball. And what you see in this is you see in the youth game, you see a lot of people falling into the same trap, doing the same thing. So what I encourage parents to do that want to give their kids the best opportunity to play college basketball at a young age is to start looking at what everybody else is doing and then figure out a game plan to do it better that's going to have your son or daughter better prepared when the time is right to earn a scholarship, to be in front of college coaches, to get exposure. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about that not a little bit, but we're going to talk about that on today's show, what that looks like. And one huge myth or misnomer that people just follow the herd. And I'm going to break it down for you, and hopefully you'll get it, understand it, shift your game plan, and give your child the best opportunity at getting the desired outcome, the opportunity to play at the next level. Hey, I'm Coach Watts. This is the College Prospects Podcast. It is brought to you by Wattsbball and the Watts Foundation. If you like what you hear, if it makes sense to you, and it's something on this podcast that you want to get involved with, the details are always in the description for more information to get engaged with the Watts Basketball and the Watts Basketball programming. If you don't have a kid, but you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying the content, and you like to support a player in need, the wattsfoundation.org, which is also in the description, will be how you can do that. So here's the thing, back to the show. Let's talk about gameplay and how many games players play at a young age versus what goes on in college. And I think this is why you see a lot of players, even the ones who get to college, end up transferring down, failing, and not being successful. And I'll just say that the goal in life should never be to get somewhere, but it should be to get there and be successful when you get there. And today's hack is one of the things that's going to allow you to be successful. And I'll just jump right into it. It's training, it's skill work. Let's think about this. I have two kids that are playing college basketball, and they will play a total of 30 games during their season. Now, if they're good and they get to play postseason, then you'll add a game or two each week up to 10 games or whatever, 8 games, whatever the tournament is, the NCAA tournament. All right. And so what are you doing if you only play 30 games all year? Well, the rest of the year, including during the season, you're training, you're working on skill development. Like, people don't understand that want to do this at the youth age. You're doing skill work on game days. You're doing skill work in addition to practice. If you aren't in the regular rotation, you have additional practice and weights in most programs during the season. And so you juxtapose that with the youth experience, and just imagine, just say, okay, you play 2 tournaments a month. Say you play 10 games a month, year round, right? That will give you 120 games in the year. And the idea is if you play against better competition, what people think is if you play against better competition, then you get better. It doesn't typically happen that way. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen that way. It does happen that way if you've put the prerequisite work in before you go to that competition. But if you have not done the work, and if you are not in a situation where you have the opportunity to fail forward, to work through your mistakes, if you're being jerked in and out of games, and you're playing against the competition in a way that you're playing close to the vest, playing against good competition, better competition, playing all the time is actually stunting your growth as much as anything else could. If you're not putting that work and if you're not taking the time in between to grow and develop. I try to tell folks, the thing about playing year-round basketball, say AAU basketball, and you practice 2 times a week and you have tournaments on weekends, well, you're always one day away from a game or a practice. So that doesn't give you the appetite to train, doesn't give players the appetite to do the additional work, because they always have something coming up. They always have something to save themselves for. And then you have the few people who understand that additional training is required, but when you're training for a game or for a competition, performance training, you're training to knock this play down, or you're training to get this, to you're looking for something to happen for you over the course of the weekend. That's different than training for growth. That's different than training for development. You're training for a specific situation that's immediate. And I like to say, like, if you're a pitcher and you need to develop a curveball, you can't develop that curveball on Monday and go throw it on Tuesday. You need time and space to work and to develop it and to miss on it and to throw it thousands and thousands and thousands of times before that curveball becomes game ready. Well, basketball is no different. When you are developing a skill and you're trying to work on that skill, if you go put that skill to test in front of your coaches, in front of the crowd, in front of the referee, prematurely, you get insecure about the skill. You get insecure about the performance of it. And then you'll end up playing mind games with yourself, not giving yourself the opportunity. Your kid won't be giving themselves the opportunity to really grow. You throw that curveball and you work at it all off season, and then you go into the season with a new pitch. That's how development works. If you want to gain, say you want to be a college prospect and you got all the skills, but you're not quite athletic enough, or your athleticism is what's going to change your trajectory. Well, you're not going to do the vertical jump work that is required to build your legs. You're not going to beat your legs up like that if you're in a practice and in that you have a practice coming up, and in that practice you're trying to earn playing time for your tournament that's coming up this weekend. You're not going to do that hard workout on a Friday night when you have 5 games over the course of a weekend. So if you're playing year round, when are you taking the time to exclusively address the things that you need to address in order to help you earn the scholarship, to earn the opportunities that you're looking for? And that's what needs to be prioritized. We all, at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of time in the day. We all have the same amount of time in a week. We all have the same amount of time in a year. It's those who focus on the things that are going to allow them to get to where they want to go, who make the best use of their time and their development, that get the opportunities at the end of the day. And that varies completely depending on where you are in the developmental phases. Let me know if this makes sense to you. A college basketball player plays 30 games a year. A youth basketball player plays 120. A college basketball player trains all year. A youth player competes all year. Well, the youth player that mixes in training, the right doses of training, more training than anything else early, right, until they get the prerequisite skills, then takes them to competition, will be the ones that are best suited for college basketball. Not only will they have the best opportunity to get there, but when they get there, they'll have established the foundation already that makes you successful there. I've seen countless numbers of players get to college, and when they figure out how much work goes into each game, each competition, each season, they can't hack it. They don't like it. They move on and figure out it's the same thing at the next stop. Well, that's today's show, the College Prospects Podcast. Tap in. Let me know if this is helpful, beneficial. Hit that subscribe button. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you want to get down, if you want to give yourself the best opportunity to play at the next level, lock in with Wattsbball. If you have any questions about any of these things, any topics that you want to hear discussed, hit us up, Twitter, Wattsbball, Instagram, Wattsbball, or you can hit me up personally, Donald Watts 24 on Twitter and on Instagram. Peace, love, and basketball. See you in the gym. Out.